Today, 5th July 2025, marks exactly 1 month since the former head of state, Edgar Lungu, passed on. So, as you may remember, the way these timelines have played out. So, on 5th June last month, 2025, we received information as a nation to say the former head of state had passed on in the early hours of 5th July 2025. The announcement started circulating around midday in Zambia, but the official announcement came from the family there towards the evening, around 17 hours thereabout. Official statement which came from Tasira Lungu, the daughter of the late president. And since then, there's been a back and forth on where he's going to be buried. The Lungu family has insisted to say he left instructions to say he does not want to see the incumbent president Hakainde Hichilema near his body, but he was open to have a state funeral with everything that it comes with. They just emphasized the point to say the sitting head of state should not preside over that. So it's because of that element that was communicated that has the government sue the Lungu family for his body to say is pretty much national property. He's supposed to be buried with other heads of state at the Embassy Park. And obviously, different media platforms are circulating the same news. So today marks exactly a month since the death of former President Edgar Lungu in South Africa hospital. He's yet to be buried. So the former head of state has not been buried. There's a court case currently prevailing. Just yesterday, just a couple of hours ago, the Attorney General filed in their statement with regard to that court case. And the Lungu family is supposed to respond either next week, Monday, or they already did that. But obviously, different platforms are remembering the former head of state. So the Patriotic Front say it's been a month since the demise of our late president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa. The Attorney General of Zambia, according to that caption, has sued the South African government and Edgar Chagwa family immediately to surrender the body of Edgar Chagwa. And yeah, they write that article and then they share a statement. Say thank you, Zambia, for the honor which was shared on Edgar Chagwa platform earlier on. And then Kalemba say, produce Lungu's will. Kabesha challenges Lungu's family and Makebi Zulu. So as a result of that court case, that's it's currently prevailing in the South African court. The Attorney General of Zambia, on behalf of the Zambian government, has demanded that a written will be produced where those instructions were clearly written by the late president to notify the family to say he does not wish to have Hakainde Hichilema as part of the funeral, and also he does not want a state funeral of some sort. So the details, Attorney General of Zambia, Mulilo Kabesha, has challenged the Lungu family and their lawyer Makebi Zulu to produce a will to prove that former president had issued instructions on how and where he should be buried as his last wish. So that's the contention that is being presented by the Attorney General on behalf of Zambia. In his submission before South African court, Kabesha said that failure to produce the dying wish of the late Lungu, President Hakainde Hichilema, has the final say on how and where the Lungu's final resting place will be. That's according to Kalemba there. Kabesha said Lungu's tribesmen allied with the state's position and to have him buried in his own country of origin as at a presidential burial site. In this case, the Zambian government has sued Lungu's widow, Esther Lungu, his sister, Betha, together with the children, Tasira, Chieso, and Dadiso, and his cousin, Charles Piri, demanding that Lungu be buried in Zambia and according to all protocols of a former head of state. Other defendants to the lawsuit include lawyer Makebi Zulu, Two Mountain Burial Service, and Ministry of International Relations and Cooperations. That's the South African ministry there. and that's where that reference is coming from. Zambia sues South Africa, so that headline is making news. Edgar Chagwa deserves a decent send-off. Different sides demands sues South Africa demands that the remains of the former president Lungu be repatriated, as it claims that the former head of state and his retirement benefits restored immediately after death, as he deserves a state funeral and fear civil unrest should the former head of state be buried in that country. So that's the argument according to what Daily Nation reports there. So different platforms are reporting and remembering the former head of state. The Zambia Daily Mail says Edgar Chagalungu's private burial affront to Zambia's dignity. That's Attorney General. So pretty much like it's a dent on the Zambian dignity or image if our former head of state is to be allowed to be buried in South Africa, as opposed to that Embassy Park where an actual grave has been dug, uh, um, where other mausoleums are for others late presidents. What is the Real Time says not in his will? So obviously that argument. Government moves to repatriate Lungu's body, saying he never specified how and where he would be buried. So they say all the statements that have been coming from the Lungu family is pretty much their personal agenda. It cannot be proven to say it's an actual last wish of the former head of state. What is the Makebi Zulu argued to say the contention here is not about that. The contention is who has the authority based off the South African law, because these cases are being tried in South Africa. So you cannot disregard that, in as much as our own laws as a nation are different. But the fact that it's in that country and the family insists to say they want to bury it there, South Africa is caught between a rock and a hard place. They would rather not be part of this fracas that is going on, but I mean, it has caught them. It is what it is. He died in that country. So, and then obviously, Patrick Fund put up an article to say President Lungu's death could spark a diplomatic storm, obviously referring to the lawsuit that has included the Ministry of pretty much what they call international relations there, what we call Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in Zambia. And then applying similar pressure applying similar pressure remains of a Broken Hill man living as fossil of our ancient human ancestors would be in Zambia by now. So Mano Mwamba is arguing to say if the argument that is being put across by the Attorney General and the Zambian government, if that is the same argument, why hasn't the remains of Broken Human? As you remember, Broken Human's remains were discovered, should have been in Kawe, but I'm not sure where they are right now. Should be like somewhere in London in one of those museums. Says if that's the argument, why have those remains not been brought back to Zambia? That's according to Emmanuel Mwamba putting up a social media argument there. And then Shifetayari also puts the same article of the Attorney General suing the Lungu family. So the Attorney General, Mulido Kabesha, filed submission in South African High Court. So there, pretty much the same article, as you remember. But on the other hand, Faith Msonda, as you remember, should have been now like 4 days, if I'm not mistaken, where the lady that you see on screen went to the residence of the sitting president Hakainde Hichilema. It is his private house actually, which is called Community House. She went there as police reports say around 24 hours to 01, and then she caused the fracas at the gate or at the premise, and she was arrested for that, and she hasn't been released. So there was an argument by the UPND to say the charges that she was given pretty much was like what we call shishite, or what the West would call loitering. They said no, those charges were supposed to be higher than that. And according to statements that have been circulating today, it seems like the charges have been increased or some sort. So breaking former ZNBC journalist Faith Msonda now faces 20 years behind bars on charge of espionage. She has been officially charged and currently detained at Kabata police station in Lusaka. So it seems that she's been charged for espionage as opposed to the other charges should have been loitering or something like that. So the charges have been upgraded, or pretty much these are the official communications that have come through. So it's espionage, which carries around 20 years if she's found guilty. So these are images that were taken earlier on when court cases came up. If you remember, where she was charged with the possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime, and it's these court cases that she went to find, as according to what our lawyer reported, is like she went to set an appointment with the first lady Mutinda Ichilema so she could be able to see President Hakainde Ichilema. Now people argue to say that time slot between 24 hours to 01, how do you go to someone's private residence to go and set an appointment at that time? So yeah, we wait and see how that court case plays out. Chief Etayari says, where are the media ethics? How can a newspaper run by professional publish such graphical images on the front page? For that matter, where is the authority? This political desperation. Yes. There's an image that has been put in the newspaper today. I'm not even going to be put it up as part of these newspaper headlines for today. It's very graphic. That's what Chifetari is referring to. A number of people have detested it and haven't received it well. No foreign head of state or Zambian president at a trade fair in Zambia today. So Emmanuel Mwamba asks the question to say, why is the president not attending the trade fair? And then Chief Etayari says, please don't send me links or whatever content. If I have not seen it, then it is not important because I have people who scan the media and draw my attention to what I need to know. So probably he didn't like that image, whoever sent him that newspaper headline or whatever. So why didn't he come to officiate at the 59th trade fair for the first time in 59 years? So he says this is the first time that a sitting head of state does not attend trade fair, according to Emmanuel Mwamba there. So he asks, why didn't President Hakainde Hichilema attend that? He's posting that from America, though. And the PF legal chairman Chisanga accuses the Speaker UPND of fearing confusion in Parliament. So there's that back and forth in Parliament between the Speaker and the opposition. So that's where that statement is coming from. And then June was not easy, but we survived it. And we are already into day 6 of July. Before we know it, it will be August 2026. After that, you will see my political mingato for 2031. So just a couple of days ago, Chifetari was saying he was vying for 2026. It seems like he has moved his focus to 2031. So he has given up. So I'm pretty sure he was hoping to have where he can return to the country before 2026. But he has read that no, the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema is not budging to have any of his cases moved, because he's been speaking in favor of the UPND a couple of days ago, in the recent past. But obviously, no one is buying into that now. So he has moved the date from fighting for 2026, he's fighting for 2031. And he says, for now, Mulekeni Hakainde Hichilema take it. So he says, let just Hakainde Hichilema run his second term in 2026, and then he's vying for 2031. Now, if he targets 2031, the court cases will not die naturally. He has to face them, either win or lose. So I do not know what is gamble. Whether it be 2026 or 2031 makes no difference. The fact is that he's got the court cases that he ran away from. So whoever is going to take it up, then it makes no difference. He has to face the law. And then acting Patriotic Front president and chairperson for the Tonsai Alliance, given was the Karushi district covered bill today. That's where those images were. And then they say UPND card are unable to resist the Patriotic Front atmosphere at the Tonsai Alliance acting chairman, given Lubinda, and his team arrived in Karushi this afternoon. So that's according to Smart Eagles there. And then News Diggers says the opposition speechless over Kwacha appreciation. That's according to Vice President Mtalina Mango. And then do not be fooled By the way, Zambians roast each other over politics on social media. They love one another. So someone, Felix Mambo there says, don't be confused. Zambians, yes, they do debate, but the fact is that there is love amongst Zambians. So it's just intellectual jargons that go back and forth. Don't get it twisted there, which is true. And Angel Mtonga agrees with that. That sometimes people even jab at each other while it's in the club, sitting next to each other, and say, "Boy, go and see what I've jabbed at you online." So don't get it twisted. There's love amongst Zambians. But anyway, so today marks exactly 1 month since the head of state died. Not yet buried. I mean, former head of state died, Edgar Lungu. We wait and see how the court case plays out, and I'm sure we will get a verdict whether he's going to be buried in South Africa or his body will be repatriated to Zambia. As the legal battles now in court, we just wait and see if they're going to be held televised. If not, I'll keep you posted. That's the news, ladies and gentlemen.